Hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brandon.
I'm Gwen.
And welcome to Broken Hearted Cast, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything in between. And this week, we're actually going to talk about what to do during your first convention, and what are some tips and tricks that you've learned.
Make sure your costumes are all done a month before the con.
Yeah, unlike us.
Not 3 a.m. Friday of the convention.
Yeah.
Like I do every year.
Let me talk about we do it. I even do it every single year. But unless you actually have a Halloween store that's a little bit down the ways. Yeah. And so, going off of that, what should they expect going to the first con? Like, then in between we're gonna do some tips. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, they should expect that there's gonna be a lot of people and it's gonna be pretty chaotic.
Yeah.
And very scary.
Which I did not realize that going to my first con.
Yeah.
Because my first con was one of the biggest cons in the Midwest, which is Indy Pop Con, which I'm supporting by wearing this 5-year anniversary shirt today. But yeah, no, going, the best way I can actually explain it is telling my story. Like, my first time going is like, we always went to Easy Rider every single year in Columbus, so I kind of had like some sort of expectation, but then like as soon as we got there it was like double or triple the size, and it just kind of went out of chaos out of that point where it's just like, oh, look at all these nerdy stuff. But back whenever I went for my first con, I was really socially awkward, and I was just like, I was cosplaying as one of the YouTubers that was there, so everyone's just like always like wanting to come up to me and say hi and stuff, and I was just like there, just like, ooh, this is a lot of people. But you don't really need to worry. It's just like the first year is always hectic, but then the more you go to cons, the more you expect, the more like relaxed it is, like, because you get those friend groups, especially if you follow each other on Instagram like what we did. And then like you just like find that niche where you can just like relax, hang out with your friends. If you don't have friends, group of friends to go with, or your family doesn't want to go with you, you can still be able to actually go out and do something at the con.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other tricks they learn besides staying up all night trying to fix their cosplay? So what should they do at the convention?
Stay hydrated.
Yes.
Eat, because that doesn't seem like something you would need to remember to do, but it is. Like, you'll show up at like 11 a.m. and next thing you know it's like 7 p.m. and you haven't eaten or drunk anything all day. So,
which, surprisingly, that's what I always do.
Yeah. I don't know how you haven't passed out yet.
Because I have high metabolism.
If you are cosplaying, definitely carry a small sewing kit with you, because you can't always guarantee that there will be a cosplay repair station. And even if there is one, you can't guarantee that like what you'll need will be there. So.
And speaking about bags, make sure you always have a bag on you. Sorry about that. Where it's just like kind of like a purse-size backpack or anything like that. For not just your sewing kit, but also for cameras, and if you want to actually buy something, instead of carrying around a bag or actually carrying it, you can put it in your bag and just walk around until you get to your hotel room, until you get back home. That'll be the easiest way of doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been going to cons for like 7 or 8 years now, and I still haven't learned to like make sure I have everything ready. At least a couple days before the con.
Yeah.
I'm always up until 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. of Friday of the convention, just painting or gluing or just trying to get like a week's worth of crafting done in an hour. And that's always interesting, especially painting.
Which that's what you shouldn't do.
Yeah, that's what you shouldn't do.
But you do it anyways.
Yeah.
I think I stayed up all night the night before the convention once, and that was because I was going with a group of friends, and we was all in the living room with Netflix on, watching The Land Before Time, just chilling out, watching the movie and crying. Then the next morning, I had to actually drive there, so it was fun. It was a fun experience. I was dead tired.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Walking around in my Markiplier cosplay. Oh, there's something. Don't cut in front of lines. Or don't cut in front of any lines. One of you want to go meet somebody at conventions, don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I did it once, and it was kind of a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because there was this like couple and like a few other people, but then I snuck in front. The guy was super nice though. So like he was just like, oh yeah, here's just another random person that was in line. But that also, if somebody is leaving, like for my second year at Indy Pop Con, Dan and Brian from Game Grumps were there, and they was about ready to leave, so they had a half circle. Like they went around and high-fived everyone. So I cut through the circle, like right behind them, got on the other side, I ran as fast as I possibly could. I'm surprised that security didn't get me. And like as soon as I got to the very end, Dan was just there and gave me like a bro hug. And then Brian came around and almost like sprayed my wrist by how hard the high five was. Which, even though how awesome of a story that is, don't do what we do.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was your second year, so you didn't really know any better.
And that whole second year was just chaotic.
Yeah, it sounds like it was.
Because it was Indy Pop Con's third year, and then it was my second year. But now I finally got everything all figured out, which, if you want to go to convention, that would be my highly recommended first con to go to, because of how big it is. You can actually like experience like the full impact of a con. Then you can go to like a little con like Ohio Con, which
that's not a little con.
It's little compared to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like one of the big cons like that, but it's not a little con. It's still a bigger con.
What do you call a small con then?
Monterey Con's a little bit smaller. That's another one in Columbus. And Marcon in Columbus is very tiny. They don't even get a convention center anymore. They just do conference rooms in a hotel. But
also Gym City Con, which is Dayton.
That's another like fairly small one. And see, I would recommend going to a smaller one as your first year, because it's smaller, it's less overwhelming. Because that's another thing you need to be careful you don't do, because it's also easy to do, is like overwhelm yourself. Right. Because there's so much to do, and sometimes there's multiple things you want to do all happening at the same time, and you have to like make that decision. And especially if you're cosplaying, some people may want to get your pictures, so it's really easy to stress yourself out.
And as well as going, because we're two different people whenever it goes to cons. I'm more into walking around and doing like the other activities, and you're more into the panels.
Well, I'm into both.
Yeah.
I really like walking around. The years that I've just pretty much only walked around and only gone to a couple panels, those are the years that I've met the most people and actually like gotten to know them and like started following them on things like Instagram. And the years where I don't like just going to panels, because that like, especially with OhioCon the past couple years, the big panels that I really like keep coming back, and so I don't really need to go to them again. But if you just go to panels, you kind of lose like the whole experience of the con. Right. I feel like.
Yeah, because you gotta have an equal balance of going to see a panel, and then also of how much work spending like staying up till 3 a.m. fixing your cosplay. You need to have that equal balance of walking around and then going to a panel. Oh, what we did for OhioCon was like we picked out some of the actual panels that we specifically wanted to go to, and then we kind of walked our way around that. But if it's your first time, just have fun, walk around, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And
another good thing to do is make sure you get to lines early.
yeah.
At some cons for a couple years, OhioCon would not let lines form unless it was half an hour before the panel would start, because they didn't want people like showing up like an hour and a half before the panel started and like forming a huge line. So it's a good idea to get there like at least half an hour ahead of time. Because even then, like, if it's in a good hallway spot, then you can get plenty of pictures of cosplayers, and people can get plenty of pictures of you, and you can still talk and get to know people and get that experience of walking around, but that way you can also guarantee you go to the panel.
But right before we go on break, actually, I want to like share a little story. Because Peter Mayhew actually passed away, I was one of the last groups of people that actually got to meet him. And if you want to meet a celebrity like Peter Mayhew, the voice actors from Macy, whoever you want to meet, like...
Well, I know at Cincinnati Comic Expo, I really want to meet the actor who played Data.
Yeah.
Because that's like a big part of my childhood and like adulthood is watching that, you know, Star Trek Next Generation with my dad. And so, like, that's my favorite character, and I really want to meet him.
And, like, if you're in line for meeting somebody, always treat them, even, like, whenever you are meeting them, like, always treat them with respect. Like, don't fangirl, don't, like, overreact, because that will freak them out.
Yeah.
Like, I accidentally freaked out the actors from Mantis just by my wig. By accident. But yeah, just again, if you meet your favorite actor, even if they impacted your childhood, just treat them with the utmost respect.
Yeah, because they're people too.
Yeah.
And people can get carried away and sometimes even treat them like they are that character. And you kind of have to also realize that, hey, they're not the same person as the character, but like, you know.
Then also, I want to share two stories before we go on break. The first one, which ties in, well, they both tie in with going to meet celebrities. For Indy Pop Con, I think it was this past year, both Hordle and Brandon from Game of Thrones was there. And I was meeting Brandon, the actor for Brandon, and like as we was like getting our picture, which we did like, oh, like, oh, you thing, like where is this like that Spider-Man meme? Where it's just like, you don't have to be a Spider-Man, I'm a Spider-Man. We did something like that, but as we was taking the picture, I felt something press up against my legs, and I look back for just a split second, and here's the actor for Hordle just pressed up against it, just like petting this dog that's right behind me, and the actor for Brandon's just like, oh, it's nice meeting you, like, have a wonderful time at the rest of the con. And I couldn't move. So I had to like slowly like get around him. And that was the most coolest but awkwardest moment of my life so far. And if we ever meet him again, I'm gonna actually tell them the story and be like, hey, yeah, thank you for pressing up against me while I was trying to take a picture. And but as I was saying about Peter Mayhew, I went to Cincinnati Comic Expo in September. It was around my birthday. It was literally on my birthday. And we got the VIP pass and everything, so we got just about right in front of the line. We got like 10 minutes early of the vendors hall and stuff like that. He, like, as soon as he came out and when we was meeting him, we treated him with the utmost respect. Like, I didn't say a word. Typically I would joke around with the celebrities and stuff like that, but both me and Garrett did not say a word. We just was like, yes sir, thank you sir, then left. And that's how you kind of like, you want to be laid back, but you don't want to be so laid back, yeah, basically. And also right after the break, we're going to talk more about how to ethically respect those who cosplay, and also some tips and tricks for cosplayers and how to act around them, and also if you are cosplaying, how to act. So We'll be right back after this break. Man, the ads keep getting better and better every single time.
They do.
I was trying to mug. Wait a minute. Thank you, mysterious hand. Anyways, so now we're back. And we was like left off with cosplay?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, we've been cosplaying. This is my 5th year celebration of going to cons and cosplaying. And how long have you been doing this?
7 or 8.
So you know a thing or two more than I do.
Yeah.
But talking about cosplay, what has been your favorite one so far? Top 3.
Gosh. The Final Pam.
Which will throw up pictures. Send them to the editor.
So the Final Pam.
Homestuck is okay.
Well, I don't know if that would be my favorite.
No.
It's hard to choose top 3.
Well,
I'm trying to think of all the cosplays I've done.
Well, which one is your favorite?
Okay, the Final Pam.
The Final Pam.
And then probably Rose Quartz, and then I'm trying to remember. I did a really good one.
You did a really good Laws from Steven Universe.
I did. That was a really nice one. And Angus. I haven't like officially done that one yet.
Angus McDonald from the Adventure Zone.
Yeah. I haven't officially done that one yet, but
yeah.
That's gonna become like my go-to one and like my favorite one to do. I'm gonna do it at probably like every con.
Do you want to ask me? I already got my top 3 down.
Yeah, okay. What's your favorite top 3?
My top 3 so far has been Spider-Man from Far From Home with the Captain America shield. And then the second one is going to be one that we're going to do at Indy Pop Con, which is going to go up possibly whenever we're there. So Taco from the Adventure Zone. And then The Greatest Showman. So, yeah, which I'll send them all pictures and pop them up over Brian because, boy, Brian needs to be covered up sometimes.
It's been bad. He has to go into bad dinosaur corner.
Bad dinosaur corner?
Yeah.
Just like the Pixar movie? Never mind. So, talking about cosplays, how would you say how people would react to your favorite ones? Like, whenever you're cosplaying, how do people act around you?
Well, people who know what I am when I'm the Final Pam, like, get super excited because hardly anybody cosplays her, and so, like, all the times I've cosplayed her, I've been, like, the only person at the con doing it.
Yeah.
So people get, like, super excited, and, like, I'm, like, used to, since I've been doing this for, like, so long, I'm used to people getting super excited. So, like, it doesn't really jar me or anything. Like, it makes me kind of happy to know that, like, hey, I made somebody's day by cosplaying their favorite character. But generally what you shouldn't do is freak out when somebody, like,
overreact.
Yeah, you shouldn't, like, freak out and start, like, yelling at the person, because some people, like, aren't used to that, or, like, maybe this is their first con and they've never had this happen to them before.
Yeah. Which during my first con, I felt super awkward because people was going up to me and high-fiving me because I was cosplaying as Jacksepticeye. And I was just like, oh, people was quoting him and then, like, giving me high fives. it's too much.
Yeah.
But now it's...
Yeah, I get more into character. Like, I try to get really into character, so like when people get excited, it like makes you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
Like if you're able to get into that character, and it can be kind of hard like the first few, like maybe hour you're at the con to like really get into like that feeling of like, okay, you're this character, you know, like, and all that. But you don't want to get into the character too much though, because it can get out of hand.
Yeah.
Because you may think, oh, it'd be funny if I interacted with this person cosplaying another character from whatever I'm cosplaying, and maybe that person's not comfortable with you.
Exactly.
Pretending that they're the actual character and that you're the actual character. Because I've seen that kind of thing happen before, and it's very awkward. And I know, like, at a lot of cons, they were having problems with Homestuck cosplayers throwing buckets at a, like, very specific Homestuck character's head, because that happens in the comic. And so people were actually throwing buckets at the, like, just random people's heads that they didn't even know, because, hey, this happens in the comic to this character, so I should do this to this random person.
I don't understand Homestuck.
I don't understand the fandom. It's,
that too.
It's just weird. But, yeah, like, you need to be able to, like, if you, like, you have to kind of, like, put yourself in everybody else's shoes at the con, and you have to think, like, hey, like, would I be comfortable with somebody, like, treating me like this if, like, I didn't want them to treat me like that? Like, no, I wouldn't. So,
right.
You kind of have to know, like, oh, if you want this person's picture, you just, like, call
like,
out the character's name and say, like, hey, like, could I get your picture real quick?
Right.
Instead of, like, freaking out and running up to them and
be like, oh my gosh.
That happened to me. I had somebody who's cosplaying the same character as me, like, yell the character's name and start running after me, and I, like, panicked and just started running, and the next thing I knew, they just wanted to, like, give me a hug, because I'd given them, like, a bottle of apple juice earlier that day. So yeah, like, it's usually best to not run at people.
How come I always had to chill people? I had a couple.
I generally had chill people.
Yeah. Like, the weirdest... I don't really have a weirdest story of someone trying to take my picture.
I don't either.
Well, you just said the one.
Oh, no, they weren't trying to get my picture. They just wanted to give me a hug.
Oh.
And, like, thank me for giving them the apple juice earlier that day.
Yeah, in that case, no. I don't have any weird stories to tell. Yeah. Everybody that I've met so far has been super chill, have been, like, super, like, actual, like, relaxed, like, hey, man, can I actually get your picture? Like, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Or they'll actually call out the character's name.
I did have an experience going to con with friends, where one of my friends brought her little sister.
Oh.
Who's cosplaying as Iron Man. And she saw a character that she recognized and lost her crap, like, freaked out, and ran at this poor person, like, screaming the character's name, and just... Yeah, so we had to, like, pull her aside and be like, you can't do that. You can't. Because, like, you can't, like, scream and then, like, run at a person. Even though you're excited, like, you gotta, like, keep yourself contained. But yeah. So that's the only, like, personal experience I've had with somebody freaking out over seeing a cosplay.
Yeah, that's basically the same advice. I would give the same advice for actually meeting cosplayers as I do with celebrities, is treat them with the utmost respect, because they actually, even though it may not seem like it a lot of time, they actually put a lot of work and effort into their costumes and how they present themselves. So just treat them with the utmost respect. Be chill with them, joke around. Like, if you actually want to, like, say a joke, like, in character, or, like, if it's like a joke of what the content is about and what happens in the story, that's, like, appropriate.
Yeah.
And then just, like, don't freak out over them if you see them. Well, yeah, you can freak out, but, like, do it in there. Like,
yeah, like don't actually freak out. Like you can get excited, just don't scream or yell or anything like that.
Don't crank it up to 11, basically.
Yeah.
And
keep it at a nice 6 or 7.
Oh, 5.
Or 5.
Yeah. And that's just about it for.
Well, I mean, there is just in general con etiquette of, like you said, don't cut in line. Kind of always just be aware of your surroundings, because be aware oh, maybe people around you are trying to get a picture taken, and
don't cut in front of somebody that's trying to get that picture.
Yeah.
Oh, just don't brush through them. Just in general, just.
Yeah, because I actually went into a panel once and cosplaying My Little Pony character with my sister, who's also cosplaying one, and this was our 3rd year going to cons. And we went to this panel, and we thought it was just going to be talking about anime conventions in general, but it was just a guy up on a stage complaining about how he doesn't like how there are not just only anime cosplayers and panels there. There was other genres of stuff at the con.
This is then why have a panel?
And my sister and I walked in, and he actually called us out the second we walked in and started saying that we're the problem with the convention, that we're why it's so toxic and messed up and all that stuff, to the point that it made both my sister and I cry, and we left, and a bunch of other people left with us and actually went and found con staff to go get it shut down. But there's gonna be people like that at cons, and you gotta try and just ignore them
as best as you can.
It's really easy also to,
and if they don't leave you alone, if they're doing a panel, contact staff, or if the staff won't do anything, contact the utmost authoritative person there and be hey.
Yeah, because every time I've talked to staff about it, they've said we took care of the problem, that's completely wrong, should never have happened. And they have cracked down a lot more on panels. They don't let people who this was the first, because we went to quite a few panels that year that was the first time this person has ever done a panel, probably. And I think that was pretty obvious with this guy. And ever since then, if they don't really recognize you, or if, anything like that, if you try and submitting a panel, you're probably not gonna get accepted, because they really had to crack down because of stuff like that going on, where inexperienced people were looking professional and then saying very unprofessional things, and stuff like that. And the con was kind of we don't want them to represent us, so but it's also just really easy. You gotta be careful about judging other people, because it's really easy to look at somebody and go, oh, well, they didn't put as much effort in their cosplay as me.
That happened to me for the last con I went to. Is I was dressed up as Spider-Man with the Captain America shield. There was other Spider-Mans there, but they didn't really have as much. They didn't really, not saying that they didn't put enough effort. They didn't have the materials.
Yeah, it's
basically
they kind of did more closet cosplay style things.
Yeah.
It wasn't that they didn't put effort into it, because some of the cosplays did look homemade.
Yeah, they look pretty good.
A lot of people who home make their cosplays, sew their own wigs, sew their own outfits, look down on store-bought costumes. And I was feeling that from a couple people at that con, and I felt that a lot at other conventions, where it's oh, you're not as good as me because you went on Amazon, or you went to the costume store and bought your costume, and I hand sewed it and all that. And
it's that's what you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Even if comparing it to people that home make it and people that store buy it, you shouldn't judge either way. If you are actually buying it at a store or Amazon or wherever you get it from, or if you are making it homemade, you shouldn't judge the other group just because they did this thing. You should.
Yeah.
Because you guys are basically all in the same boat of, hey, we're all cosplayers, maybe we should actually...
And we all have this thing in common. We all like this character.
But, so don't treat them poorly just because they do something different than you.
Yeah.
Or just in case of, like, they look different than you.
Yeah. Like, and I can tell you, like, for a fact that, like you shouldn't, like, say, oh, this person it looks like they put more effort, or their costume, like, looks more accurate to the character, so I'm only going to get pictures of people like that. I'm not going to get pictures of people who maybe don't have all the props or don't look as professional. Like, they're more like, this is like probably one of their first years kind of thing. Like, I can tell you for a fact that it'll make that person that wasn't able to put as much money and effort into their cosplay, it'll make their day if you, like, also get their picture.
That even if it's their first time cosplaying, or if it's their first con,
yeah,
it's gonna make their day even more, because I remember, like, we was at my first convention, and I think we did it, like, even, like, around this time too, and me and my family was eating at Dick's Last Resort, like, not even a block away from the Indiana Convention Center, and it was this little kid that had, like, the Jacksepticeye shirt on, eating with his dad, and, like, it was really obvious that this was their first con too. So I walked over there and, like, gave, like, the little kid a high five, like, asked him if his day was going well, stuff like that. Like, that made his day, and that made a dad's day. And then later on during this past year, we met somebody that's very sweet, but she was left alone. And, like, we just made her day just talking with her and actually, like, helping her out.
Yeah.
So, even if you, moving on from the homemade or store-bought cosplays, even if you just see somebody by themselves, or if it's their first time, like, slowly, like, approach them and treat them with respect. That's what the title of this episode should be.
Yeah.
Treat them with respect. But like, go up to them and, like, ask them how their day is. Like, if they're not having a rough day, like, just probably ask, like, hey, do you want me to walk around with you?
Yeah.
Because even though, like, they may say no, it's like, are you sure? Like,
yeah.
Don't press them, but, like, appropriately ask, like, hey, I understand where you're coming from. This is possibly your first time, or, like, this is, you're here left alone, and all your friends ditch you, or, like, let us help you.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah, and kind of just, like, with the whole cosplay thing, like, in general, don't, like kind of just try to, like, get, like, be as inclusive as possible, because, like, it can really, like, hurt somebody, because, like, people can't, like, choose what body they have, and they can't choose what skin tone they have, so, but that character may still be their favorite character, so at least somebody want to cosplay it.
Yeah, I've seen cosplayers that have different body types, like, they fit that character more than the person that actually does have, like, the right body type, the right hair and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, like, because I've had that happen to me a few times where, like, I would put, like, just, like, a ton of effort and time, and I stayed up, like, all night the night before the con to make sure my whole cosplay was perfect, and then, like, nobody would get my picture because the character I was cosplaying didn't wear glasses, and I had to wear my glasses, and because the character I was cosplaying was more heavyset than me, and I'm skinnier than most people who cosplay that character.
Right.
And so because of, like, those things, like, I would notice I'd be, like, even going to, like, not like official photo shoots, but just, like, kind of areas where all those characters would kind of chill out and talk to each other, and, like, everybody would kind of flock to the people who either had another character, like, from the show cosplaying, like a friend of theirs cosplaying the other character with them. People would usually go to them to get pictures instead of going to, like, me, because, like, my sister wasn't cosplaying somebody from the same show. And so, like, just because, like, those kind of experiences, like, I've learned, like, hey, like, I shouldn't, like, judge people, like, and think, like, oh, well, they don't have the right body type or skin tone, so I don't want to get their picture. I want to find somebody who looks exactly like the character.
Basically.
Because, like, when people did get my picture, like, it did make my day, and it made me feel really good, and kind of like, wow, like, this person did like all the effort I put in my cosplay.
And even if you like a certain character, like, just get a picture of everybody, because you never know how much that's gonna make their day.
Yeah, like I may get a picture of like a lot of people cosplay Homestuck, and I may get a picture of like just a few minutes into the con of a character from Homestuck. But there may be like 500 other people that are cosplaying that character. Well, I'll still try and get like those other people's pictures.
Right.
Because like each one may be wearing a different version of the outfit, or like they may put their own little twist on it, or
one of them may like accidentally like create like a OVC of the character, like what I did for OhioCon was I dressed up as Shoto Todoroki from My Hero Academia, and we went to a prom dance thing, and the outfit that I wore to it with the Shoto wig, apparently that was like his birthday suit outfit for like some official art or some fan art that they did of it. So like people was like even like then coming up to me and be like, hey, that's a really nice cosplay.
yeah,
or like this. I'm like, how?
yeah. So it's just like a good idea to always be like as inclusive to people as possible. Get like, even though like you may think, oh, but I already got a picture of this character, like still maybe get that person's picture, because they could be having a bad day, and you, for all you know, like you just getting their picture could brighten their whole day.
Yeah, like how I met Jetback. And just like this past con, like the first con to start off this con season, for a quote, I was just sitting down and dressed up as the Greatest Showman, and like these two girls like were freaking out. Like they actually walked up to me. It was like, hey, can I get your picture? Like, I love you, like your cosplay and everything. And I was just like, yeah, sure. Like that actually made my day, because Gwen was off with her sister, and I was just like kind of by myself. And there was just some people there that I didn't really want to talk to, so I'm like, I'm just gonna hang out here for the rest of the day. And I met some wonderful people just like sitting there, like even though I was by myself, like going like looking through my phone. I still had a wonderful time. Then also I met one of my favorite voice actors by accident. I met Jack, the voice actor for a character from Cowboy Bebop called Jet Black, and he was just walking to his hotel, and I was just like, oh hey man. He goes, hey. So that was really cool. And like, even though going back to, you know, if you're having a bad day at a con and if you're by yourself, like people like that can make it worth it. So, but we're gonna wrap it up here. If you actually want to meet us at any of the cons, we're gonna like have a list in the middle of all the cons that we're gonna go to this year. And also, if this goes up around the time period of whenever Indy Pop Con is, hopefully it will, you can meet us out there. It's from June 7th to June 9th.
Yeah, sounds right.
Yeah, that sounds just right about. So if you're actually watching this on your way to Indy Pop Con, we'll see you there. If not, then we'll see you next year, because I always go every single year. And if not, we'll see you at the other cons. And yeah, hope you have a wonderful day, or whatever day you're watching this, and high five like button with your thumb.
Leave a comment down below.
And make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to ring the bell.
Ding.
This thing notified when we upload. And yeah, next time we're going on the cast. Bye.
Bye.